Hey, folks, another Facebook Live today. My name is Rick Berube. We are here with Darci Hope from the lovely state of California, Indian Wells office, real estate extraordinaire, and bundle of energy. Yes. All right, Darci, tell them a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, and all that good stuff, please.
All right. Well, I'm Darci Hope, and I get to live and sell real estate in beautiful and sunny Palm Desert, California. I've been licensed for 6 years now. Before that, I actually was a stay-at-home wife, but I was lucky that my husband was a seminar promoter, so we got to live in all the big cities in the U.S. and Canada. We actually moved every 3 months for 15 years. And so I've been to dozens of sales training seminars, read hundreds of books on sales and language and all that. And we own vacation rentals in the desert. And so when we came off the road and lived in one vacation rental and ran the others, and then after 3 years of that, I said, I'm way too young to be retired. There's too many hours in a day. So I got licensed in real estate and have steadily built it up to a bona fide business now.
I would say so. I would say so. Yeah. So that's interesting. So you guys were all over the place, including Canada and so forth. And then you thought, why Palm Springs? Just curious.
I grew up in Palm Desert. So
That's right.
so we bought our home here so that when we were on vacation, my mom could watch the kids since we lived primarily on the East Coast. We never had any built-in support system. And then since that's where we owned a home, that's where we came when we came off the road. And so I love it. I can appreciate it because I lived in all these big cities. I can appreciate our beautiful desert and how friendly everyone is and how easy the parking and free is. And
Right.
all the great things about this small town.
No, I love the Palm Springs area too. The Palm Desert, everybody. It's when I go there, it's just a great place to visit. It hasn't been crushed by the traffic, although you have some. It's just a really beautiful place. And if you love golf, it's like heaven.
It's like the capital. Yeah, there's 100 different golf courses to choose. It's funny because when I'm selling houses out here and they get so obsessed with one club, I say, well, guys, why would you even join one club? You could golf on a different golf course every day for 100 days in a row. It seems silly to just pick one.
Yeah. No, it's true. It does give you that home court advantage. But other than that, no, all these different courses they're absolutely beautiful and they're well kept.
Yes, exactly.
All right.
Yeah.
So 6 years in the business, and tell us a little about your production level so they get an idea of what you're doing, please.
Yeah, so last year I did 18.5 million, and this year we're almost halfway through the year, and I'm at just over 9 million once my last two close that are in escrow right now.
All right. So you're like on the same pace as last year.
Yes, exactly. Hoping to hit 20 this year.
20. I was going to say 20 million because we did the podcast a couple weeks ago. 20 million is your goal.
Yes.
So awesome. Yeah. I love that. I think that what a great goal. And you have an assistant too, don't you?
Well, I have my TC who kind of doubles as an assistant, and then I also have a buyer's agent, Annalisa.
Annalisa, that's what I was thinking. Okay, so you have a TC and a buyer agent as well, and so forth to do 20 million. That's great. But you handle most of the listings, and you do handle a lot of buyers too, don't you?
I do. I really like working with buyers as well. Yeah. So, just kind of, I love to help support Annalisa. So if I'm busy or, just think someone's kind of teed up and ready to go, I send them her way.
Okay, cool. And you mentioned, you have been at many training seminars and all that good stuff too. So what's the basic idea of how you run your business to do, $20 million a year?
So I think consistency is really important. When open houses were the thing, I was doing open houses all the time. And really, it takes a lot of hard work in the beginning. There's no way to get around the paying your dues in real estate. And you have to be an agent and behave like an agent every single day. You can't hide on your couch and, no one's ever knocked on my door and said, hey, is there a realtor in here who's going to help me buy or sell a house? So I have to go out every single day and actively let the world know that I'm here to help them and I'm tenacious and I'm the best choice for them. And really just at least a few hours a day, make an effort to make contact with people so that they know I'm here to help.
Right. I love it. So that would be your sphere, maybe a farm, few
Yeah,
other things.
exactly.
Cool. And how about social media? Do you do a little of that?
Yes, I'm getting better at that. My husband actually is kind of my PR person, and so he does a great job with our sphere of influence on Facebook. I'm dabbling in Instagram. Actually, I hired a company yesterday to take over my social media because I'm so bad at it, and I know that it's so important that I may as well just pay for it because I've given myself the chance and I'm just not doing it. So I'm going to pay someone to do it.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, and your husband, all those years that you were the housewife and the mom and all that, now it's kind of a role reversal between the two of you, right? Huh?
It exactly is. Yeah. So there was a little transition, in the beginning where he was like, but it's funny because he always said that he was the captain and I was the first mate, and that the first mate is just as important as the captain because if anything happens to the captain, the first mate has to step up and keep the ship going in the same direction. So
Right.
now he's handed me the captain hat and he's the first mate. And it's just as important as being the captain. But because he was in such a grueling sales environment for 20 years, it's actually my pleasure to be like, hey, honey, you stay home, just have dinner ready, I'll handle things. So we have fun with it.
I love it. I love it. It's great. I love it. It's great. That's awesome. Great role reversal and a good thing, hey, he's a good sport too, which makes it really
Yes,
nice.
oh, he sure is.
All
I
right.
also have to deal with the emotional roller coaster.
Total out of the blue question.
Yes.
I'm looking at your last name and I'm thinking in the desert, how many times have somebody asked you, hey, are you related to Bob?
Yeah, I get it a couple times a year at least.
Right. Especially when you're driving down Bob Hope Boulevard, right? I mean,
Exactly. Yeah, we used to have the license plate Mr. Hope when my husband was the captain. We had the license plate Mr. Hope, so it was funny. But yeah, a few times a year. I wish he was the largest landowner in Southern California. Fun fact about Bob Hope. I wish I was related.
yeah, right. Yeah. And he owned a lot of individual properties too there too, didn't he?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yep, a few.
Yeah, kind of like Wayne Newton here in Vegas. He did well
Yes.
entertaining, but he did even better with his real estate.
Isn't
Which is a lesson for everyone listening today. Buy
I
real
was
estate.
just going to say, we shouldn't just sell real estate. We should also purchase it. How much am I kicking myself now for not buying everything I wanted to buy over the last few years? So I bought
Mm,
another investment property at the end of last year. And, the goal is to buy at least one a year because we have to parlay this into our own investing. I mean, if you're teaching other people about real estate investing, you should be doing it yourself.
exactly. At least a few. Everybody. I
Yeah.
think as part of your retirement program, you should have because real estate. The great thing about real estate is it appreciates as the whole, not just the down
Yes,
payment. Right? Yeah,
exactly.
and it's a great tax deduction too, especially for you, a licensed real estate salesperson.
Exactly right. We've recently lost a lot of our write-offs, so it's even more important to invest in real estate because that's where you get the best write-offs.
I know it. These new tax laws. I hate it when they change them when they're already really good.
I know, damn it.
No, these damn regime. When every time an administration changes, stuff changes. Sometimes it's
Everything.
good, sometimes not so much.
Exactly.
Not a political statement, just a fact.
Yeah, just a fact.
Right, exactly. All right, cool. So, all right, so let's get into this. So now, and it's my favorite question.
Yes.
So you're an agent and you want to come out of the gate hot. You like you did, only 6 years in, doing 20 million. Hello, that's amazing. Right? Or I'm an agent and want to take it to the next level. What would be the three most important things you tell them to focus on?
So the first thing would be consistency. In all honesty, when I was a brand new agent, I worked 7 days a week. I was in the office making phone calls or doing floor time if I didn't have phone calls to make for 5 of the days, or sometimes 4 days. And on Friday, I would start with open houses. So Friday, Saturday, Sunday were open house days. And then during busy holiday weekends, I would do 2 open houses a day. So I made sure that I was out there, and sometimes no one would come to my open house and sometimes 2 people would come to my open house, but I was there. And I did a couple years ago before the pandemic, half of my revenue came from open houses.
Nice.
So, you have to work. You have to work every single day or at least 6 days a week until you get some traction. Unless your phone is ringing, if you're only making outbound phone calls and none of them are in, Inbound, you aren't in business yet. So you have to keep going and making a concerted effort until your phone actually starts to ring. So I would say work very hard in the beginning. Learn the inventory is also part of working hard, because if you're sitting at that open house and they walk in and that open house isn't the right one for them, you need to say, well, oh, this one has the south facing backyard 2 streets over, or this one's updated, down the street. Whatever it is, you have to know the inventory so you can then plug them into the house that will work for them. Second thing would be consistency. I can tell if I go on vacation or keep my eye off the ball for a minute, I can see that affecting my production 2 months later. So you have to stay consistent. The minute you lose the consistency, you will see the reflection down the road. But that's good too, because then if I'm not getting the result that I want, I know that I can plug in and be consistent, and I will 2 months later have the result that I want.
Right. I love it. Cool.
Yeah. And then run it like a business would be the third thing. I pay very close attention to where my revenue comes from. So I know where I need to be focusing my energy. If my revenue is coming from open houses or making phone calls or sphere of influence, then that's where I need to focus my energy. I need to make more hours of phone calls a day, or go get back into open houses on the weekends, or make coffee dates with my friends in sphere of influence. So, running it like a business. I just, yesterday invested 15% of what I made so far into online advertising and having my social media taken care of. So as painful as it is to do that, you have to do that. It's what business is ever successful that doesn't reinvest in itself. I can't think of any.
Well, yeah, exactly. You got to spend a little bit of money to make a little bit of money. And fortunately, in real estate, it's almost unfair because we do very well. We don't have we have to put some back in. But like Coca-Cola, if you take Coca-Cola, if Coca-Cola makes 5% off their gross revenue, they're ecstatic, like for the whole year.
Yeah, exactly. Right, exactly. And it's the brokerage that's taking on the bulk of the expenses. I don't have to pay for an office. I don't have to pay for some fancy printer. I don't have, we pay franchise fees, but I think the name Berkshire Hathaway carries so much weight and a psychological trusting, that again also is a great investment in our businesses. So to also take a little bit, whether it's good pictures, nice signs, whatever it is, you do have to reinvest in yourself.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that. Yeah, the brand is very important. And you also have one of my favorite people as your manager. I mean, Gina's incredible.
Oh, yeah. She's great.
She is. She's awesome. She's great. And she's a hard worker like yourself.
Well, and that's wonderful too. Every time I go into the office, there she is. Every time I, call or text, she either responds immediately or gets back to me within the hour. And I like having a manager that works as hard as I do. That's important. It sets the tone. It makes me feel like I need to raise, or keep my standards high, because she is, for us. So we can only return the favor.
No, I say that the reciprocity, is that the word? Yes, I think it is.
That's right.
is very is good, right? Also, the way you're speaking, Darci, which I really enjoy, by the way, is you're talking matter-of-factly. Like, in other words, if you do these things, you'll get this result. And I don't think a lot of agents think that way. So that's refreshing to hear you speak that way.
Well, thank you. And I think that you're right. Before, in the beginning of real estate, it's like this, where I sold a few houses. Oh no, how am I going to sell? I used to wonder, oh my gosh, am I ever going to sell a house again? And now, because I've been doing this, I'm confident in the activity that produces the result. So I can speak matter-of-factly about it, because now I know I don't need to panic. Like, it just, if I do this, I will get this.
Right. No, I agree with you 100%. And what you were describing, that's the roller coaster ride when you're doing activities. Now you have 2 pending and you're totally engrossed by the 2 pending, right? And then they close and you're like, oh, I got to start over again. And then you start over again. And then you get to the point where you're like the person at the carnival that's spinning all the plates, right? You spin this one.
I call myself a plate spinner all the time.
Exactly right. And when you figure out how to have 12, 15 plates spinning at the same time, right? You go to one pole, you spin the plate. you still have a roller coaster ride a little bit, but it's nowhere near as
It's a
dramatic.
steadier roller coaster, right?
Yeah,
It's not
that's
like
way
the
more
up
fun.
and down, right? It's the kiddie coaster.
Yeah, I did the roller coaster at the top of the New York with my kids once, and that was
Yeah,
plenty.
yeah, I'm sure. You're
If I
perfect.
never do it again, it'll still be too soon.
Exactly.
Right. All right, cool. So I love that. And I agree with you 100% that this business has a lot of predictability to it, although you're never going to do 12% of your business every month. Every month I
Right.
do 12%, right? It's never going to happen. Or
No.
whatever that number works out to be, 8, 9%, whatever that, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
10%, it's not going to happen that way. So you have to be all about it with the faith that it's going to happen, but sometimes it comes and runs, right?
Absolutely right. You won't know until the end of the year how it's all gone.
Right. Exactly. No, I love it. I love it. And it's a fun, and you obviously, it's very apparent that you have fun doing this. You enjoy it.
Yes, I wouldn't do it otherwise if it wasn't fun. So I had to figure out a way that it worked for me and could be fun and also take the emotional roller coaster out of it.
Right. And I agree with you. You're way too young to be retired. Although retirement sounds great. People, I always tell people this because in 2003, I decided I was going to take a whole year off. It didn't happen. I took 60
It's
days.
20 hours.
Well, this, not only that, your days off are so much better when you have purpose with days off.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. Or if you could be productive in the beginning and then take your afternoon, you feel so much better about yourself.
Yeah. Being in real estate for 38 years, a weekend off feels like a vacation to me.
Exactly. Even just a Sunday. One Sunday.
Right. Like a 24-hour period.
Right.
Give your phone to someone else. Here, hold this.
Right.
Exactly. All right, awesome. Any final words you want to leave these lovely people today, Darci?
I would just say be grateful for the brokerage that we're with and all the tools that they provide, and listen to you, Rick, and getting us through this next transition in the market, and just keep on having the faith.
Right. Well, I agree with you, and I appreciate all that too. And if agents listen to me every once in a while, it's a blessing. They do, though. I do have some.
Right.
That do.
Good.
And it's amazing that the ones that listen to me actually go to the next level, only because I've been doing this a long time. But one of the reasons I do the Facebook Live is they would much rather hear it from you, Darci, the person out in the trenches every day. They really would.
Right.
Speaking of that, but before we let you go here, before we let you go, you mentioned the market change. So what do you see? What do you think is happening out there?
So I just see it ever so slightly softening. The properties that are desirable and are priced correctly are still getting offers immediately and can still have multiple offers. We're not seeing the 5 and 10 and 15 offers and tens and hundreds of thousands over ask. So it's just going back to, I think, a balanced market. None of the data supports a crash. They weren't giving out free money to people who didn't qualify for it. But the interest rate hike has given buyers just a pause. But if they see the value, they're still making offers. So just, keep at it.
Yeah. Well, I agree 100%. It's gone from a super ballistic. Well, by the way, it's tough to compare anything to last year because last year was the best year in the history of real estate.
Right.
There's never been a better year. Right.
Right. Exactly.
And the year before was the second best year, even though 3 months went kind of down to like 50% because of the pandemic. So to say, this year we're probably about 10% off that pace, but that's still
amazing. Right.
And like we were talking last time, you work with somebody, you make 4 offers and they don't get it. They become depressed. They become a little, now they have a chance to get a house. It's a lot less.
Exactly. Right. I felt bad for my buyers, because we were writing solid offers and sometimes getting them and sometimes not. And I was as much, pep talk, motivational speaker, like, you got to keep the
therapist,
the right one's going to come, as much as I was agent, so it was interesting. And now it's just kind of managing everyone's expectations and getting them to believe again that they will get the property this time.
Yes, you will. If you get out, and that's a great thing. Everybody that, everybody out there listening, go through your list of people that didn't get a house and call them.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
especially since the rates are climbing. So,
Yeah.
you know, that has a lot to do with your payment for the purchase price. So, you know, if you can
It
get it
really
now,
does.
buy down the rate a little bit if you have to. Who cares? They're still
Right.
incredible right now, even though they've gone up.
Exactly. Right. When
But when
things
these
were in the
people,
fives, everything was fine. It just went down to three. So then when it goes back up to five, which is normal and is also still an incredibly great rate for borrowing hundreds of thousands of dollars,
right,
so again, it's just talking people through that. It's psychologist, plate spinner, firefighter, boxer. I wear all those hats.
therapist.
Right. Yeah.
No, don't jump off that bridge. You can buy a house now. Stop.
Exactly. Right.
Back up. Get off the ledge. No, I hear you.
Right.
It's a fun business, but it is definitely mentally draining, especially when you have all that going on and they're not getting properties and so
Uh,
forth. This
yeah.
will be a lot more refreshing for them. And your sellers that say, I have no place to go. Well, you can take them out and show them stuff now because it's on the market.
Exactly. Right
Inventories.
now they do.
This is so much better of a market for a top producer
It's
like
so
you.
much better. I totally agree. Right. I
Awesome.
have to get everyone to understand that.
You do. You do. And the only way to do that is by talking to them, like you said, and getting them out there. And that's
Exactly.
awesome.
And picking up the phone, it's not about texting and emailing. I think a lot of people hide behind that. You got to pick up the phone and have a conversation.
Yeah, you got to talk to people. You can't be
Yeah.
a secret agent, right?
Right.
Well, I really appreciate your time today, Darci. Thank you very much for taking your time out. I'm sure a lot of
My
people got a lot out of this, and I want to be cognizant of your time. So go back out there, keep killing it, and I will
Okay.
talk with. I'll see you in 2 weeks. Actually, I'll be at your office.
Okay. I'll see you then.
All right, Darci.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. See you, Darci.
Bye.
Thank you very much.